Hey all, I was just out in the garden and I ran in here, still in my gardening clothes, because I realized what my next spinning project is going to be. And I'm still intrigued to work with the fast flyer that I recently purchased for my Lendrum wheel. I was going to try out the super fast flyer, but I don't feel like I'm quite ready to give up on this yet. I'm going to go down a whirl and see what it's like to spin thinner the farther down you go, because remember, if you watch my other video, I'm on the top whirl, which is still fairly small from the regular flyer, but I want to see what the difference is when I get into the middle and ultimately the smallest one. So I'm really sick of superwash fiber at this point. So do you remember this from my how I dye in a crockpot video? It's like very interesting color combo. Wasn't trying to put them together, just taking some new colors of dye that I had gotten in stock, and I needed to make some little yarn samples I keep in my binder, my dye binder, and I thought, well, let's just dye some roving along with it. You see Mr. Peanut here? Every time I do a video, I swear he just wants to steal the show. So if you hear scratching, it's this guy. So I thought this might be a really good roving to try out with the smaller whirl on my fast flyer. And I've decided what I'm going to do, rather than being very technical and doing like a fractal or things that we've seen before, is I am going to strip this fiber into thin pieces and spin it that way. That way we're going to get a lot more color variation, and yeah, it's going to be probably really crazy, but let's try it and see what it looks like. I am here to experiment so that you can get ideas from what I do. So yeah, it might look a hot mess. I don't know. Let's give it a try. Now, I'm going to start this project tonight. I wanted to get this filmed now while there is still some daylight, because I like to spin during the evening, and sometimes the lighting isn't great. So if you're intrigued, join me. I'd love to have you see how I make out with this vomit of color. Okay, it turns out I can get going a little earlier this evening. There's still some daylight, so I have taken this section off of the roving here, but it's still too thick. I want to strip it down even more because I want less, or I should say more, color change in at least one of the bobbins. So I'm literally going to split this like yay big. Just go down. Do you hear Mr. Peanut in the background? He is scratching the cat tree again. It's like it's a signal to him. Oh, she's recording something. Let me go scratch this. He's a funny boy. So I'm not going to be too concerned about how even it is, because it really doesn't matter with this one. We're not trying to line up any color or have any type of particular patterning, just crazy, wacky, colorful yarn. That's what I'm going to name this one, this project for now anyway. And we have a lot less of the red on the top, just the way that it had split. So I'm probably going to go back down again and even split this one more time, because we're quite much more thicker at the bottom. Roving is a funny thing. You think you have it evenly, and then it's like, yeah, it does whatever it wants, and I am just going to let this do whatever. Look at this. So yeah, it's completely, whoops, sorry, camera's down here, not up there. Yeah, so it's broken off here. We don't have any of the red, but never mind. We'll go with that anyway. So I intend to I'll probably strip this down twice, or at least twice, maybe even 3 times again, and just spin these smaller pieces. And I've even decided I'm just going to go for it and go for the smallest pulley here. Whirl, I guess it is, not pulley. All right, I'm going to get working and see how it all feels, and I'll give you an update soon. Good evening. I just want to give you a little update on how it's going with spinning this yarn, and I apologize if you can hear my daughter shrieking. I think she's playing Among Us online with some of her friends. I am absolutely loving this setting. I put it on the smallest whirl, and wow, I cannot get over how fast I can treadle and consistently spin a thinner gauge of yarn without it breaking on me, because that's what I find with like the regular flyer that I tend, if I want to treadle faster and then it breaks, I have to reattach, and it's really, really annoying. So this I found easy peasy. Also because the roving is split into smaller sections, that also, I must admit, makes it very easy to spin thinner and more consistent. But check out this color. You know, this was a crazy roving. I had done this for a Crockpot dye video with no rhyme or reason, just to show how I dye in the Crockpot. So the colors are like, you know, welcome to the clown show, huh? Like, holy color barf. But the color also is very, very nice and saturated all the way through. As you know, that when you spin a roving, when you're pulling out those fibers, the color kind of gets muted. So evening here means it's time for me to relax, watch some TV, do a bit of spinning, and I'll be back with an update soon. Okay, are you ready for this or what? Here's bobbin number 1. We have bobbin number 2. And we have bobbin number 3. Now, when I was working on bobbin number 1, I thought, oh, that's kind of pretty. I'll just chain ply it. And then I reminded myself, no. We are supposed to be pushing the envelope of what we are comfortable with doing. This is certainly outside of my comfort zone to mix these colors. Remember, my goal here was to not follow a pattern. So I was splitting the roving as thin as I could in many different places to hopefully have it so that the colors won't match up, so we create this color vomit. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be nice. I don't know, people. We're just going to play and see what happens. So I ended up doing 3 bobbins full because I really want 3-ply yarns in my stash. I have enough 2-ply, so I figure, and because this is thin, I figured that extra ply will give it some strength. But yeah, so let me show you how thin I'm achieving in this video. It's not bad. I'd say easier to get this time since I've had more practice with the fast flyer and also on that smaller whirl. Wow, I cannot get over how fast this goes. You get treadling and the things just boom, 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 and it's like, oh my God, like butter. It's amazing. I'm really, really happy that I finally purchased a fast flyer for my Lendrum after all of these years. So I still have a little bit more to go. So he's got about yay much here. I do want to spin it all before I get plying. So this is about as thin as I'm splitting the roving, and I'm even in some places have tried to get thinner than that. And of course you don't usually get all the way to the end when you do that. So there's like, I want the color as mixed up and jumbled as possible so we can see the end result. So I am going to try to set up the camera so you can watch it as it plies. I think it's going to be really fascinating. And I figure if it's loud and obnoxious yarn, it'll make decent socks. I love wacky socks. Or I can simply pair it with a solid color to tone it down in whatever I'm knitting. So I've yet to meet a handspun yarn, or at least that I've made, that I haven't liked color-wise anyway. So I'm going to continue working, and I'll set up the camera as soon as I'm ready to do the plying. So I had one of the plies break here as I was plying, and I'm just backing it up to find where that is so I can reattach it. I see 3 plies there. Somewhere in here. This can get tedious. Okay, I think I found it. So all I am going to do is reinsert this broken edge in here and make sure that there is a lot of twist in this area. There we go. And then we continue. And look at that, it broke again. So this is a weak spot in this ply, no problem. I do joins quite a bit. Just going to back it up a little bit here where there's extra energy and tuck that broken end in there. And we're going to zip it up. There it goes. Really important to have extra twist when you have a breakage or a join involved. Don't worry about it being uneven. It all literally comes out in the wash once you set it. Phew. Okay, this was a lot of plying, although if you've watched my videos, you know I tend to say that a lot. I like to push the envelope. I was afraid this wasn't actually going to fit all on here, but I just kept going and keeping my fingers crossed. I have burnt the motor out of my e-spinner once already, applying a lot of alpaca. So actually not applying alpaca, it was just straight out spinning it. But yeah, very interesting color profile with this. I was going to say that I'm going to hate this. I do not. It was so much fun to ply and watch all the different color changes. And a lot of times it would be 2 plies the same color and 1 different color. Now remember, I stripped the roving fairly thin to do this. So in some sections when I was stripping it, you'd have a lot more thickness in one area than the other. So you'd have more, maybe like say red to blue, for example. And some other times when I was stripping it, it would break, the roving would break. So I would flip that. I was trying to get as much like nonsensicalness as possible. And here's the other bonus about spinning thinly is you get a lot of yarn in the end compared to like bulky yarns and worsted weight, which is what I'm used to spinning. So it'll be interesting to see how much I end up with. I'm going to get this skeined off and we will check it out. What did I end up with? Did I use it all? I have this much left on one bobbin. One bobbin was completely done, and this one has like a faint bit of red left. The brown is the leader yarn, so not bad. I decided I am just going to put this on a storage bobbin and use it for something else. This is more than enough yarn, so let's get that. Oh, before I do that, I didn't use this. This was the chestnut broken color that I had done when I did the original dye. So if you see my dyeing in a Crockpot video, you'll see me do this color. This was brown, and I intentionally kept dipping the roving in dry so that it would have this fade out. I think I am just going to keep this or run it through my drum carder to make a bat and blend it with some other fibers. I have an upcoming video on using my drum carder to make textured fiber for spinning, much like I do on my hackle. So I might just do that, so I have a little extra for that video, and if not, he'll just go in the drawer labeled and I'll use him another time. So anywho, let's get to skeining this off, and we'll give it a final soak, and then we'll have a final look. And I look forward to seeing the final result of this yarn. So my drying rack is currently in use in the basement, drying my garlic. So I'm just going to hang this here off of this chair to dry in the sunshine. So I'm having a very busy day. Hopefully there is no food in my teeth. I literally just ate and I have a few minutes, and I want to show you the final product of this yarn. Like, can you believe from that first roving that I had that this is what I would end up with as a 3-ply yarn? Isn't this pretty? This is a testament to never judge a yarn before it's spun. I thought for certain I was going to hate this yarn, that I was going to over dye it. We do a part 2 while I over dye, but no, I adore it. It's vibrant and it's fun. Let's see if I can get a close up so you can see. There's a few areas where we actually got some solid color too, which is very fascinating to me, how that would happen. Wow, wow, wow. So much fun. And it's 17 wraps per inch. So that, again, we're into that sport weight, not quite a fingering weight. I actually really like this size for a gauge. I don't use a lot of fingering weight yarn. Even for socks, I tend to go up a little higher. So I think that this would be, wouldn't this be fun for socks? I have 838 yards of it, so I am not sure what I'm going to do with all this, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. What do you think of this? Do you like this, or is this just like, whoa, it is way too much going on? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks again for joining me this month for this experiment. This was quite eye-opening and exciting for me, I must say. As always, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.